All right, what's up, guys? My name is Zach, and today I was thinking about doing a like an end of the year recap of all of the cool cars that I drove this year, and I was gonna film it like I did the award show last year, and things like that. But I decided to just do a live stream instead, so you guys can chime in, ask me questions about cars, and stuff like that, because there's a lot of stuff to go over, and I'd rather have you guys. Give your input as well, and you can ask questions about all of the reviews and such. So, started a little bit early today, but yeah, leave your questions, comments. Hello, everyone. Everyone's starting to come into the chat, but before we do that, just a couple quick little updates for the channel. Actually, really just for reviews in 2020, because things are starting to kick off. Couple things are going to change. First of all, I have my new pocket tee. This will be the outfit for the 2020 reviews. If you guys remember last year, I wore that gray hoodie, gray shirt throughout all the reviews, and that was fine. I want to switch it up a little bit classier. So pocket tees with the logo is the way to go. And so that'll be a change. Second of all, if you guys noticed last review, the last couple, I did a couple POV drive stuff. So I actually had the GoPro on my head and threw a couple of those clips in there. So that will be happening as well. And as well as I am in the process of making a Twitter account for shooting cars. I've actually never had an actual shooting cars Twitter account. I have my own personal one, but I want to have an actual official shooting cars Twitter account. And then also I made a shooting cars TikTok. Yeah. So basically the reason for that is TikTok gets so many views so quickly. I posted a random video from one of my reviews and it got 1,000 views. And I don't have like any followers on there. So like TikTok algorithms are crazy. So if that can bring more people to the channel, that would be absolutely great. Yeah, I know TikTok, big oof. It's just a way to bring more people to the channel, people who wouldn't normally find my channel just because the YouTube algorithms are not the best, and they are not very favorable. Before we get into it, hey, my FB has a weird sound at 5,000 RPMs. I replaced the exhaust and stuff, and it sounds the same at 5K. Is it? It is a 13B special edition. I mean that could be a lot of different things. Could just be something loose, rattling, a lot of stuff. But oh, come to St. Louis and get this dang oil cooler. I do have to do that. I am in the process of actually looking at a new car because, yeah. So I don't know if I am going to have the funds to come down to St. Louis, but hopefully somewhat soon. Hey, hi, how's it going, Nostalgic? So let's get right off the bat here. So I'm looking at my spreadsheets and stuff. I reviewed 180 cars this year. 178 reviews were released, 178, and two of those were dual reviews. So the Toyota Corolla, the hybrid and non-hybrid review, and then the two Toyota Crowns that I did, that was a dual review as well. So that brings it up to 180 different cars, which is absolutely amazing. I mean, it really blows me away. I'm looking at the list here. The Ford Focus RS was a big one for me. Chevy Colorado did really well. That was a 2019 Chevy Colorado. The 2012 Mazda Speed 3 was great. Shout out to Merv. I mean, just the list goes on and on. So we'll get into it here in a little bit. So, actually, let's just jump right in. So I have a list here. So we'll start off with new cars. So I reviewed 45 cars from 2019 and then 10 cars from 2020. There's a lot of cars in there. A lot of obviously Chevys and Toyotas and Lexuses because that's who I've been working with. And for new cars, the new car category, we'll keep it 2019 and 2020 because I don't think it's fair discounting 2019 because it's still 2019. But I think my overall favorite car, favorite new car, a little bit biased, of course, was the 2019 Mazda CX-5 Grand Touring Reserve. It fixed absolutely every issue I had with our CX-5 because we actually have a 2018 Mazda CX-5, and I'm mad that it doesn't have memory seats because we have the Touring, which is like it's a decent trim level. It doesn't have it doesn't have memory seats, and it doesn't have Apple CarPlay. Well, all of that was solved with the 2019 Grand Touring Reserve, which is really, really cool. So I have to say, my overall favorite new car that I reviewed this year was the 2019 Mazda CX-5 Grand Touring Reserve. So next up, excuse me, my voice is a little crackly. I kind of woke up not too long ago. Is best JDM. So this is right-hand drive cars that were never sold here. I have yet to review an imported European car that's right-hand drive, or really any other imported car. Basically, if you find an imported car here in the U.S., it's a JDM car. And so there was a lot of thought that had to go into this. It was a very hard decision. I think every JDM car I drove this year was something interesting, unique, and special. But my personal one, what I would want to see in my driveway when I walk outside. Again, all of these awards, all of my favorites are just my own personal opinions. But I have to say my favorite JDM car was the 1992 Toyota Crown V8. So I drove a wagon and a sedan. And I think in the review I said I'd take the wagon. But ever since then, I've just been slowly thinking about it in my head, and I think I would take the Crown V8 sedan. It had a lot more luxury options. It had the digital dash, and I think overall that would be a better car for me. And I absolutely loved it. I thought it was just such a cool car, so unique. The digital dash was awesome. It had a essentially a tube TV in the dashboard, which was awesome. But I do have to do some honorable mentions. Honorable mentions are the Nissan Pulsar. That was absolutely awesome. The Nissan Pulsar GTIR. The reason I didn't choose that one is just because that was such a raw driving machine that it was great, but I don't know if I would want to live with that car. I don't know if I'd want to daily that. I don't know if I'd, I just wasn't as passionate for that car. And the Honda Acti was absolutely awesome, little pickup truck. But the reason I didn't choose that one, being my favorite, was because I think I mentioned it in the review. The gas pedal was so high up that I just had a weird seating position to where my foot started cramping after I drove that thing for maybe 20 to 30 minutes. My foot started cramping. So I don't know if I could do that as a forever car. Darn was hoping it was my Chaser. That I reviewed that last year. I reviewed the Chaser last year. So that does not count for these reviews. I loved that Chaser, and honestly, maybe C33 Wait. Okay, hold on. Who's saying maybe a Laurel C33 for your new car? Also, I'm not lying. I found your channel. Look at Laurel reviews. I'm not kidding. The car that I'm looking at right now to possibly buy is I already reviewed one. My good friend Charles. It was a Y32 Cedric in the same color, same year, same engine. I found one online for sale that I really want to pick up. I'm just waiting to get the VIN from the company so I can talk to my insurance agent and talk about getting that insured, what the process of insuring a JDM car would be. That's not at all set in stone. That's just what I'm looking at right now. I know I really do need a new daily because my Pontiac is dying. It's almost at 190K, and I stalled it going into reverse. So it's funny that you bring up the C33 Laurel, because that's not far off from what I was looking at. That was really weird. But yeah, best car with fake Speed Hunters banner, Hubert's Eclipse. Yes, it's in a category of its own. So getting on here, best muscle. There was no other really even competitor this year. It was the 2019 Mustang Shelby GT350. I got this from the Chevy dealer. They had one returned to me at 5,000 miles, or not returned to me, but returned to the dealer or traded in actually at 5,000 miles, and it was a 2019 Shelby GT350. Uh, I mean, man, this thing was absolutely insane, an absolute monster, best muscle car I might have ever driven. And I have driven a Hellcat, but the Hellcat is so plush and comfortable, and I don't know, it just the Hellcat didn't seem to have a whole lot of urgency. It was more of a like an angry drunk uncle vibe where they're mad, but they're really not going to hurt anyone. The 2019 Mustang Shelby GT350 was just it was just laser precise, and I absolutely loved that thing. Getting on to yes, okay, do it. I missed the Cedric. It was such a smooth ride for a daily. Yeah, this one's on stock suspension. Yeah, it looks great. Oh man, yeah. What size of wheel spacers did you have on Rose? I did not have any wheel spacers for the black wheels. They were 15 by 7, -12 offset. Those numbers are ingrained into my mind because everyone always asks for those offsets. Getting on here, truck and SUV. So this is I put trucks and SUVs into the same category, although don't ever call an SUV a truck. I never call a Suburban a truck. But the winner by far was the 2019 Ram Limited, owned by my good friend Paul. This thing was a Mercedes Benz with a lift kit, essentially. I mean, the back seat, heated, cooled. You could almost recline fully in the back seat of a truck. Had great technology. And was just overall a really, really great car. Honorable mention, though, was the BMW X5 35D. Um, the reason I didn't choose this was because I'm not completely sold on an SUV, and it didn't have quite the features that the Ram did. I mean, the Ram really blew me away, and I think it was as nice as the BMW X5, but you also got the bed, you also got the pickup truck, you had the air ride suspension, you had all of these other things that really made it something really unique and really really great. But I loved the BMW X5 35D. I think that was a great great car. Uh, Hi, happy holidays, happy holidays. Yeah, the roundhouse kicks my truck in the face. Yes, the step side GMC. Actually, Roy, since you're in the chat, the step side GMC. I occasionally on a review, I'll get a message saying, "Hey, is this car available?" I've gotten, I believe, 3 people asking if that GMC is for sale. And of course, I know it's not, but I never ever get that many or asking, that many people asking if a car is for sale. Um, so that yeah, that is something to be said. And I really did like your GMC. Um, just not quite the truck for me. Obviously, I mean, you can't really beat reclining rear cooled seats in a pickup truck. Did you have to roll the fenders or quarter panels? No, I did not. Although they were kind of rusty, so they kind of wore away. So take that as you will. So getting back to the cars, the best luxury car. Now, this is an interesting one, and this one took a lot of thought, but I'm pretty happy with my decision. My favorite luxury car from the year was the 2019 Kia K900. The reason for that is that I genuinely felt like I was in a Mercedes S Class, which honorable mention, I did do a 2014 Mercedes S550, and that was great. It felt exactly like that, except for the fact that it didn't have massaging seats. The Kia did not have massaging seats, but you save like 40 grand at least 40 grand. So for me, but I would much rather buy the Kia K900 and have 40 grand to drop on something else. I mean, it's just the gap between the Mercedes and Kia is not worth 40 grand. Would I pay an extra 5 grand for a Mercedes? Yeah. Would I pay an extra 10 grand for the Mercedes? Probably. I could not justify 40 grand more for massaging seats. So the Kia K900 really did blow me away. Um, yeah, it was just an overall, just such a great, great, great car. So I'm guessing that your wheels rubbed. Okay, so my wheels did not rub. Well, okay, they originally did, but I got a lower profile tire. I did a 195 45 R15, and they did not rub. Originally had a 195 55. 195 55 tires did rub, but also my suspension was really worn. So, you know, it is what it is. All right, getting back to the cars. Best modified car. This one's tough because I don't want to blow up. It was Caleb's B 2200 1UZ pickup truck. Caleb, don't let that go to your head. But it was a really, really well built truck. It was a Mazda pickup truck with a 1UZ, a Lexus V8, and honestly, Caleb Gingium, for you guys who don't know, he's a friend of mine, so I call him Caleb. Uh, he did a really, really good job seating that motor into that truck. Uh, it's just overall is a great it was a great experience. It's fun. The clutch was weird, but that was just a clutch spring. I don't know if he's fixed that since. And I'm excited to see his all-wheel drive Miata build. Hopefully, I'll get my butt into that seat at some point later on. But an honorable mention for the best modified car. Actually, I wrote this list before I reviewed my good friend Hubert's Eclipse. That was great. I did not expect that car to be so fun. It was a big turbo on a V6 Eclipse. Mm. Excuse me. That was a lot of fun. But also an honorable mention was the B18 swapped EG Civic, owned by my friend Matt. That was the teal Civic, and actually the first review where I actually put the name of the car in the thumbnail. That's actually what started it. I put B18 swapped so everyone would know, and then I sort of just carried on that tradition for the rest of the year, and I'll probably carry that on for a while. That was a lot of fun. I actually had a lot of fun in a Honda Civic, which is something that I don't normally say. Um, but yeah, and last the last category I have here is poster car. Now I've done this in the past where I've had a category of my favorite poster car that I drove this year, and hands down, it has to be. I drove a 2008 Audi R8 V8, but it was the gated six-speed manual, and that was the best car that I drove this year. I mean, that was my favorite. I have models. I'm actually looking. I'm in my basement right now. On the shelf over there is a exact replica of the car that I drove. A white Audi R8 with the black, side accent. That was something I aspired to drive one of those for so long. That was just so it was such a cool car to me. When they came out, I was what, 11. I was 11 when they first came out in 2008. And so that was like just an amazing, amazing car, and that was really cool to finally drive one. And honestly, I wasn't let down. It wasn't as fast as I thought it was going to be, but besides that, it's such an experience. It's just really, really, really cool. I would love to buy one if I ever get hired by Top Gear. Top Gear would be like that's like a dream job. But overall, those are the cool cars that I drove this year. Again, 180 cars. If you guys have any questions about any of my reviews, please put them in the chat. Yes, I do have a 6-port rotary. It's a 13B out of an FC. I'm going to try not to do too much rotary stuff because this whole last month has sort of been uh, all about reviews, and I want to focus on my reviews, and it's something I'm very passionate about. But the rotary content is going to resume in 2020. I promise you that. I got a lot of stuff. No, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. But yeah, the rotary content is definitely going to continue. I do have 2 videos, I think, already planned out with a third in the making. Um, I'm making slow headway on the blue car, but I need to get a new daily. I need to get a new daily. It's just because I have to go to school and work and stuff like that. So I need something like that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little stream. I'll stick around here for a little bit. If you guys have any questions about any of the cars that I reviewed this year, I'll list a couple of them here. I mean, like I said, 180 different cars. I'm not going to list them all, but Uh, I did the 2019 Chevy Blazer, 2016 Focus RS, 2019 Honda Passport and CRV, the MR2 with the V6 swap, the 1994 NA stock MR2, the Pontiac Sunfire that was lifted, Subaru Ascent, the 2019 Chevy Colorado 2019 Lexus IS300F Sport. Oh my God, there's so many. 2019 Toyota 86 TRD. That was a lot of fun. That was a great little car. Buick Roadmaster Estate 1996. Shout out to Austin. 2013 Ford Mustang GT, 2005 Dodge Neon SRT4, 2018 Smart for 2 Passion Electric, 2016 Porsche Macan, 2017 Porsche Macan, 2019 Mazda CX-5, 1987 BMW 325e, 1993 Mazda RX-7, 1991 Mitsubishi 3000 GT, 2013 Mercedes CLS 63 AMG, 2 Toyota Crowns, the sedan and estate, 2003 GMC Sierra, 1986 Mazda RX-7, 2019 Chrysler Pacifica, 2007 Nissan 370 or 350Z Nismo, 2004 Mazda RX-8, 2018 Audi A5, the turbocharged NA Miata, Pontiac G3. I mean, just crazy, crazy, crazy. How was the Blazer? Okay, so the 2019 Chevy Blazer, I since that review has come out, my view on it has changed a little bit. I still think that the 2019 Chevy Blazer was amazing. It was a good SUV. I don't know if it was great, but it was very good. It was sporty. It had sporty accents, stuff like that. However, it doesn't really live up to the Blazer name. It's just, the Blazer was like the K5 and the K10 Blazer were these off-road machines, and then the Trailblazer was good, and then the Trailblazer SS, that was the big V8, the cam that would punch you in the chest. I mean, that was those older Blazers. It doesn't live up to that. They shouldn't have named it the Blazer. They should have named it something else, something sporty, and it would. I think it wouldn't have riled up the community as well, as much. The Genesis that I drove this year, the V8 Genesis, was absolutely awesome. I just like my cars to flash a little bit, That's why I've owned, two very interestingly colored RX-7s that shoot flames. Favorite car I drove on your channel this year is the 2020 Panamera GTS. Nick, I think we drove 2019s. I think we drove the 2019 Panamera GTS. But the 911 that we drove, that was a 2020. Those were amazing. I wish I could have reviewed those. I wish I could have worked something out. Toyota Chaser maybe for a daily. Maybe, but those carry a pretty high premium. A lot of people want the Chasers because they're 1JZs, and they're great. They're great cars. I love them, but they're a little bit out of my price range. The Cedric I'm looking at is about $8,000, which is well inside my price range. You put in some work this year. Yes, I did, and I hope to put in a lot more work 2020. I absolutely love doing car reviews, and it's sort of a bread and butter for the channel. It brings a lot more people. It brings a lot new, it brings new people to the channel. I know I have my Rotary following, and I love my Rotary followers, and I love Rotary content. That'll never change, but I like getting new people in and sort of sharing all of the car world as opposed to just Rotary stuff. I love Rotary stuff. That's my sort of niche thing, but yeah. I know it's not on the list, but what do you think of the first gen IS300? I need to review one. I have a couple friends with them, but I need to drive one. I backed one out of a driveway one time, but that's it. They came with 2J NA2Js. Hopefully, 2020 holds a first gen IS300 for me to review. You should review the Telluride. Those are selling like hotcakes. I do have a 2020, might be 2019. No, it's a 2020 Kia Telluride review on the channel. So that is up on the channel if you want to see my thoughts. I liked it. Um, I think Kia's diving into a bunch of different markets right now. And so I think for a first shot at a big SUV, I think Kia did a great job with the Telluride. I genuinely think it's a great first attempt. Is it as good as a Jeep? Is it as good as a Suburban or Tahoe or Durango? Not quite yet. But for a first year vehicle, I cannot knock the Telluride. It was a great car, and yes, they do sell like hotcakes. You should be working on your Mazda. Yes, I should, although it is terribly cold. So no, I'm not. I did do some work the other day that I filmed, and that won't be up for a while. But yeah, yeah. My goal with Rotary Life in 2020 is to do fewer episodes but higher quality. I want to do like interviews, and I want to do like actual cinematics, and not just me on my phone. Hey guys, I'm in the garage. I'm not Ty Lopez. So there's going to be maybe fewer Rotary Life episodes, but really truly entertaining. I want you to look at that. I want you to look at the episodes and be like, well, that should be on TV. I want you to feel like you're watching the Discovery Channel or something. I mean, that's what I really want out of Rotary Life, and that's what I've always wanted, but I've never really had the means. And now with the new car, I feel like this is the time to try to do that. I love the IS300, and I wish I would buy one when I move to Chicago. They're great. They're really really cool. Um, Better than the Borrego. Is that an old Kia? The Borrego? That sounds familiar. You do a good job making car videos. Thank you. I really do appreciate that, and I hope you guys enjoyed all the videos. I know from Thanksgiving to now, I released a review every single day, and I know that that's absolutely a lot, and I'm sure it cluttered a lot of people's feeds. But I really wanted to kind of end that era. I'm gonna take a break. I don't know if I mentioned it quite yet. After tomorrow, I have a video coming out tomorrow that's just a montage of everything that happened in 2019. After tomorrow, I'm going to take probably about a week, half a week to a week break, and start up some new stuff. I want to do a weekly podcast, and I want to do more stuff like that. Safiro, I don't know how to say that. A1. I know that's an old Nissan as well. Yeah, I've never driven a Safiro A1. So the car that I'm looking at right now, I had already driven, and I've reviewed literally an identical one. I think the one that I reviewed was a slightly higher trim, but you know, overall, I drove a nearly identical car, and so I kind of know what I'm getting into. Since the car that I'm looking at, I'd have to buy essentially sight unseen. It's out in Virginia, um, but yeah. Thoughts on the electric muscle crossover craze? My thoughts. Yeah, I want to talk about this more when I start up the weekly podcasts. But honestly, I'm not mad as long as they continue to make the regular Mustang, the Mach E. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a fad, and I think Ford will maybe transition it into its own sort of thing. Got to interview some of your followers who have some beast rotaries. Yes, that's the plan. I'm also I'm trying to set up a way that I could do phone interviews, because I've talked to a lot of people on the West Coast who are more than happy to come on the podcast. I actually talked to John Vargas from the Vargas brothers, the one who built Hertz car and stuff. I talked to him for like 20 minutes out at Seven Stock, and we just literally just talked like rotary guys. He was super cool, super chill, and I asked him if he would come on the podcast, and he said he would. But obviously, I don't live out in California, so that would be pretty hard to do. But hopefully, I want to get a good phone system set up where it will sound good. You reviewed the 2003 Super WRX. Thank you for that. You helped me a lot learning about the WRX. Now I'm going to buy one. And plus, how did it feel driving it? I really do like Subaru WRXs. I think they're great bang for your buck. They make a great amount of power and they're very easy to modify. I think that's why, you know, I think that's why there's a lot of Subaru bros, because they just sort of attract that sort of people sometimes because they're very easy to get into. They're not super expensive, and you get an access port. You get a bass tune onto it, a 93 tune, and you're good as gold. Like that thing will make way more power than my rotary will make in the next couple of years. I mean, they're seriously great cars. They're a lot of fun to drive. They're beasts in the snow. The only thing you have to look out for is one, high mileage. People beat the snot out of those things because they make so much power, because they're so fun. People just readily beat the snot out of them. And the second thing you have to look for is rust, because a lot of people take them off road. A lot of people, drive them through dirt, gravel, and don't quite wash them. They want that rally look with mud on the side and stuff like that. Same issue that Jeep has. I don't think Jeeps or Subarus are built any less quality than the average car, but I think people don't wash them as much and people don't quite take care of them as much. And so you see super rusty Jeeps, you see super rusty Subarus, especially here in the Midwest. Watch my Subaru Outback review. I hone in on rust spots that are common for Subarus. Over the rear wheel well to the right, like if you're looking at it on the driver's side, rear wheel behind the rear wheel well. That's rear wheel well, is a common spot for rust. So definitely look at that and try to just get as low as miles as possible. An M5 competition review in 2020. I would love to do that. I actually this year I sort of redacted my redacted whatever my I used to say that a BMW has never upset me, or I've never been unhappy with a BMW. That changed this year. I was very unhappy with the BMW i3 and I was very unhappy with the BMW X4. However, an M5 competition, ugh, I mean, there's just not enough words in the dictionary to describe that. Um, that would be great. 2020 Super review. Hopefully, I can get my hands on one this year. Again, cars like that, like the M5 competition, like the 2020 Toyota Supra, it's just all what can I get my hands on. The Toyota dealer I work with only has one, and it's new. And the issue with that is they don't mind me driving the new cars, and driving the new Corolla, driving the new Camry, because when you buy one, a person buying a Camry isn't going to care about miles. A person buying a Supra, they'd much rather buy a Supra with 3 miles than a Supra with 15. I mean, granted, I don't put a lot of miles on the cars, um, but I'm going to talk to them this year and see if I can actually get a hold of something like that. And really just keep my eyes out. If someone returns one, once it becomes a used car, all bets are off and I can drive it. I mean, Toyota Naperville is absolutely great. They let me drive literally anything. I drove that Mercedes they wanted a lot of money for and all that stuff. Yeah, it stinks the bad rep that comes with Subis. I know I'm not the Subaru bro, and same with you. Yeah, no, I'm definitely not saying all Subaru owners are Subaru bro. I just think, you know, if I was like, I always think of like a bodybuilder, like a weightlifter bro, like a gym bro. You know, I keep my protein shakes thick, and I want my horsepower high. Like stuff like that. It's not hard to make high. It's not hard to make good horsepower out of a Subaru. And so, someone who's not super into cars, that's a very obvious sort of route. As opposed to like rotaries, it's very it's few and far between that you find like a real rotary bro. You get the rich rotary bros that have like FDs and they just got it because it was in the Fast and Furious, and they don't, it's tough to find someone who's really deep into rotaries that's really like a bro, because you gotta kind of tweak with them to get them to make high horsepower. I mean, you guys know my RX-7 made 150. So, I mean, I know my car is slow, but it's a lot of fun to drive. Um, and there's plenty of other cars that I think the Infinity G37s and G35s, uh, I think those sort of attract the same sort of crowd. The HR motors or the VQ HRs make great horsepower out of the factory. Exhaust, intake, simple modifications that you can do to make it feel a lot faster. I don't know how much that really adds, but a G37 sort of, sort of attract that same sort of crowd. So I am going to take a quick texting break. Uh, let the questions roll in. Okay. I got to start to get into RB engines. I love RB engines. The RB20. Well, okay. To be fair, I've only driven two different RB20s. I love the sound of them. I love they make a decent amount of torque for still being a 2 liter. They handle boost really, really well. I've driven a Skyline and a Laurel, and man, outside of 13Bs, um, the RB20 is I think my favorite engine that I've driven. I love V8s too. I mean, it is what it is. My FB makes 0. It doesn't run. Well, neither does mine. Mine has been sitting in the driveway since October, so mine technically doesn't run, which sucks. I hate it so much, but like, I don't hate the car. That came out wrong. I hate not having a running rotary, but there's no sense in me getting it running right now because Illinois uses so much salt on the roads, that the second I took it out of my driveway, it would start forming rust in areas I didn't know existed. And I do not want to repeat the red car. I drove the red car through one winter, and that's not the reason for all the rust on the red car. The red car, it was already doomed before I bought it. I found body filler that was going over rust cracks, and I know I didn't do it, and I doubt someone snuck into my car to put body filler over cracks. Um, but I don't want to do the whole rust thing again. Not now, man, not now. Um, you was sad. I was sad. I was big sad. But I'm excited about the blue car. I'm excited to get the blue car running and have something fun to drive around again. Um, yeah. I mean, Um, but yeah, if you guys have any more questions, I'll stick around for like 2 more minutes. If you guys have your questions about any car reviews, rotary stuff, we'll just end up the video here. We'll cap it off at a solid 40 minutes. Geez, 40 minutes already. My God. But yeah, so if you have any last questions, submit them. It's been a great year for reviews. I've been so happy. Um, and last December I decided I'm gonna try to go as hard as I can for 2019, and I think I did. But I definitely I did my best in 2019. But now looking back, I think there's definitely ways I can improve. And so 2020, it's just gonna keep building and building and building. As an MX5 bro, I understand the rust thing. Yes. Um, yeah, those rear rocker panels because of that soft top draining. Super fun. Maybe some kind of thick rubberized undercoat on the FB or something to cover up the underside to avoid rust forming. Yeah, I do plan on doing that. Um, but the issue with that is that, you know, in order to apply that rubberized stuff, it has to be like 60 degrees, which it did actually hit 60 degrees on Christmas this year. It's Christmas. I'm not going to be rubberizing my car instead of uh, spending time with my family. Um, but yeah, I do plan on doing like a rubberized thing eventually and just not driving it ever in the rust. What do you think about the RX-8 and the way it died off? It makes sense why it died off. Emission standards, things like that. Uh, I don't think the Renesas ever really. The Renesas motor in those cars, You can make power, they're fine, but I don't know. They just didn't I feel like they just missed the mark on them a little bit. And so I hope Mazda brings the rotary back. Apparently they changed the rules of Le Mans to allow rotaries again, which is interesting why they would change a nearly 30-year-old rule out of the blue, unless Mazda's planning on something. Maybe they'll have a rotary race car because they still hold the patents for it. But I don't think Mazda should bring back the rotary unless it's going to be really, really solid. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for subscribing and watching all of the car reviews. I mean, I mean it really from the bottom of my heart. This has been an absolutely great year. It has allowed me to drive some cars that I never thought I would even drive, let alone some cars I didn't even know existed. The Pulsar GTIR, the Acti, uh, just all of these cars I didn't even know were a thing. I was able to drive them and experience them, and I'm glad I got to take you guys on this journey as well. So I'm super excited for 2020. I believe I'm actually filming my first review this Friday, actually. Yeah, this Friday I'm filming my first reviews again. But they won't be up for a little while. I do want to take sort of a channel break. Tomorrow there will be a montage, the 2019 best of shooting cars, all the cool stuff we did this year. But yeah, so yeah, happy New Year, guys. This is the last time I'll kind of talk to you guys. But I will be starting up a weekly podcast. I'm going to try it out in January, see if you guys like a weekly podcast. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm looking forward to 2020. Take care, guys.